Dr. Paul here. I never thought I would admit this. That's what I'm going to talk about today, something I just never thought I would admit. You know, take that.
You don't want to wear it?
I don't want to wear that. It doesn't go with this video.
Okay.
Probably doesn't go with any video going forward. Here's the thing. I don't regret that I became a doctor. It provided me a path to feed my family and raise a whole bunch of kids. Gave me some training and expertise that allowed me to expand my mind. However, I don't think I've ever really admitted that if I was to do it again, I don't think I'd go to medical school. In fact, I know I wouldn't go to medical school. And if you're listening and you're planning to go to medical school, ouch. I'm not trying to derail you. I think there are ways you could do it and still survive, maybe, in a wholesome way, but it's really questionable whether that's possible. Let me explain. When I was in medical school, I was trained how to diagnose and treat. Pretty much that was it. Yes, we learned basic anatomy, physiology, microbiology, all that stuff. But once you get into the clinicals, man, it's label the disease and fix it. And you fix it by surgery, you cut it out, radiation if it's cancer, pharmaceuticals. There was nothing, zero training in natural healing of the body, in natural approaches to health problems and challenges, and nothing about what it takes to stay healthy. I mean, that's what excites me now and has excited me actually for the past 15, 20 years. I had to train myself, and I'm still in that process of training myself, taking a very deep dive into holistic nutrition now at age 66. That's what I would probably do if I had to do it over again. Now, maybe I would have gone along a naturopath kind of training, so I had at least a background in physiology, anatomy, and all of that. I think that would be important. But I've mentored a few young ones going through medical school, and they get sucked into the system. You go in all idealistic. You want to help the world, save the world, be somebody that really makes a difference in the world. I'm not saying they're not making a difference, but they're trapped in a system that diagnoses and treats. They're trapped in a system that doesn't empower the individual to heal, to really become well. Our bodies were made to heal. The other piece is true health is not just physical. And I mean, we're seeing this with the explosion of anxiety and depression and suicides and loneliness and you name it, right? We're seeing that there's more to than just physical health. There's mental, emotional, and spiritual along with the physical. And if I can't incorporate all of that in my training and in my approach to helping others, then I think I don't want to be a part of something that's just, in a way, keeping people sick and perhaps harming them. I mean, the amount of suffering and death and you name it that's in the name of science and medicine, it's atrocious. And the amount of wellness and healing that's possible if you really get down to what does it take, right? Get stress out of your life, get toxins out of your life to the best of your ability, get the nutrients you need from whole organic foods, and sleep and exercise and community and some kind of a spiritual practice that keeps you connected. These things make life worth living. They make life exciting, and it's what excites me now. So yeah, I wouldn't go back and do MD. No way, no how. I know of a guy who was a top of his game surgeon, and he opened a CrossFit gym, walked away from medicine completely. He's now surviving, actually making a decent living, just owning a CrossFit gym and helping people train and building his team that helps others. He wanted to do something that truly gave people back their health, gave them an avenue to wellness and wholeness and fitness. And that's really more important, I think, than participating in a broken system. It's not that doctors are bad people. I mean, most went into this field because they wanted to help others, but they're stuck in a broken system that is just overly dominated by top-down directions. We call them protocols that are largely made by people who have interests in pushing a particular medicine or approach. For me, getting to medical school, through medical school, and through residency was a nightmare. So I grew up in Africa, went to high school, a top school in Africa. I came out a really good student. I got great SAT scores, and I could get into almost any university I wanted. I spent 6 years in college. I never dropped a single course. I took a full load the whole time. So, I was that kind of driven student. My GPA wasn't good enough to get in after 4 years with my bachelor's. So I went on and got a master's. I taught anatomy and physiology as a teaching assistant. And after my master's and retaking the MCAT, after having gotten, year one, I applied to 12 or 14 schools. I got 2 interviews, ultimately did not get in. Year 2, in the middle of my master's program, I just applied to 4, just as a sort of maybe I'll get lucky, didn't get in. The last year, I applied to 30 schools. 30, count them, 30. I got 1 last minute acceptance. Of all places, Dartmouth Medical School. Great medical school. That was a lot of rejection, but it was a lot of heartache. I was actually preparing to apply a 4th year. I was that determined and dedicated. This is what I wanted to do. But basically, you've got 6 years of college, 4 years of really rough, being in school and having to learn a massive amount of information when you're a little ADD like I am, it is work. It is an enormous amount of work. I let go of everything else. I didn't exercise for those 10 years. I didn't eat right for those 10 years. I handled stress incorrectly, using alcohol inappropriately sometimes to just sort of de-stress. How about had I been living holistically and in a connected way to myself and my spirit and, that physical, mental, emotional, spiritual kind of living, I would have been a much better doctor. So, yeah, there's plenty of things I think, looking back on my own life, that I could certainly do better, and that never ends. I remember my mom, she just passed this past year, and she was always, in a gentle, beautiful way, finding ways to live lovingly with others and to take good care of herself. And I admire that. Thanks, Mom. So I also want to give a shout out to you doctors who are out there truly saving lives. We need emergency physicians. We need surgeons. If you have a ruptured appendix or an acute appendicitis, you could try to treat it medically, but there are times, take motor vehicle accidents and you're all broken apart. You need experts, and we wouldn't do well without them. And I remember growing up in Africa, it was the family doc who was also a surgeon who could deliver that baby by cesarean section if they weren't going to survive otherwise, who could do the surgery that was life-saving. We need doctors. So I'm not saying you shouldn't go be a doctor if that's what you're being driven to do. I just found, for me, where I'm at now, having gone through the journey I went through, I think I would like to practice in a much more holistic way, and I probably wouldn't need an MD to do that. And I hope somehow this little tirade of mine was helpful to you. I'm Dr. Paul, and I don't diagnose or treat anymore. How about that? But we can still help one another, can't we?